On the morning of September 14, 2007, 14-year-old Andrew Godson departed from his residence in Doncaster, UK, with the intention of attending school as per his usual routine. However, Andrew did not arrive at school that day. Instead, he waited for his parents to leave for work before returning home, where he changed out of his school uniform. He subsequently withdrew the entirety of his bank account, which contained £200, and without leaving any notes, he boarded a train at Doncaster station bound for London, arriving at King's Cross station at 11:20 a.m. This marked the last confirmed sighting of Andrew, and he has not been seen or heard from since. In this discussion, we will explore the background of the case, hoping that someone viewing this video may recognize him. Andrew was born on July 10, 1993, to parents Kevin and Glenys. He and his sister Charlotte were raised in a Christian environment, although their parents did not impose their beliefs on them. As Andrew matured, he ceased attending church with his family. He was an exceptionally bright student enrolled at Macaulay Catholic High School in Balby, Doncaster, and was anticipated to achieve straight A's in his forthcoming GCSE examinations. Andrew was a reserved individual who preferred solitude, although he did have a small circle of friends with similar interests. He seldom socialized with them, opting instead to spend his time at home engaging in reading, gaming, and listening to music from bands such as Slipknot, Muse, and Funeral for a Friend. At the time of his disappearance, there were no apparent indications of depression or mental instability. Andrew was smaller than his peers, resembling a 12-year-old, and while he exhibited considerable mental maturity, he lacked street smarts. He wore strong prescription glasses and was deaf in one ear, featuring a distinctive double ridge on the side of his right ear. Although his hair was light brown, he planned to dye it black on the day he went missing. He was last seen dressed in a black Slipknot t-shirt, black jeans, a watch on his left wrist, and carrying a black canvas satchel adorned with patches of rock and metal bands. In the days preceding his disappearance, Andrew opted to walk home from school instead of taking the bus, a journey that would take approximately 1 hour and 20 minutes. His family noted that he appeared to be his usual self. The evening prior to his disappearance was spent with family, during which they shared a meal, cleaned up, and watched television together. On the morning of September 14, 2007, however, Andrew was described by his family as irritable and difficult to awaken, a departure from his typical early rising nature. After leaving home to catch his bus to school, he altered his route and waited in a local park until the rest of the household had departed for the day. A family friend spotted him sitting on a bench, and he was later recorded on a neighbor's CCTV system returning home after changing out of his school uniform, which he placed in the washing machine. He then took his wallet, keys, and PlayStation Portable console, placing them in his bag. Notably, he did not take a coat or his passports and left £100 in cash in his bedroom. Andrew subsequently walked to a cash machine at a nearby garage and withdrew £200. Bank accounts were utilized to purchase a train ticket to London. This footage was recorded on the morning of his disappearance. He subsequently boarded the train alone, and CCTV captured him at King's Cross station at 11:25 a.m. on September 14, 2007. This marked the last confirmed sighting of Andrew. When the family gathered for dinner that evening, they were unaware that Andrew was missing. They presumed he was in his room. However, concerns arose around 7 p.m. when they realized he was not present. The police were notified, and a large-scale search was initiated, but it yielded no results. It was not until 3 days later that it was confirmed he had purchased a one-way train ticket to London. Initially, it was believed he might have gone to visit relatives in the city, but this theory proved unfruitful. The family and police also explored the possibility that Andrew had traveled to London to meet someone he had encountered online. However, there was no supporting evidence for this claim. Andrew did not use the home computer and showed no interest in social media, nor was there any indication that he had access to school or library computer. Another theory suggested that Andrew might have gone to London to attend a concert by his favorite band, 30 Seconds to Mars, who were performing at the Brixton Academy that evening. Despite appeals to concertgoers, no leads emerged. Over the years, numerous unconfirmed sightings of Andrew have been reported from various locations across the UK. A year after his disappearance, a man approached the Leo Minster police station and communicated via intercom that he possessed information regarding Andrew. However, by the time someone responded, the individual had left. Following the BBC's coverage of the case on The One Show, an anonymous letter was received from an individual claiming to be associated with the Leominster police station, stating that Andrew had been spotted in Shrewsbury. However, investigators have been unable to locate this individual or find any evidence confirming Andrew's presence in Shrewsbury. Each year, Andrew's family initiates new appeals, and his case has been featured on numerous popular television and radio programs across the UK. They have utilized age progression images to depict what he might look like as time passes. Additionally, the family has reached out to the LGBTQ+ community, considering the possibility that Andrew may have been grappling with his sexual orientation. In May 2011, the family commissioned a private company to perform a sonar search of the River Thames, employing technology typically used to locate victims and significant items at sea. Unfortunately, no trace of Andrew was discovered during this search, although another body was found. To commemorate the 10th anniversary of his disappearance in 2017, the charity Missing People made Andrew the face of their Find Every Child campaign, featuring his image on billboards and advertisements throughout the UK. That same year, the police announced a renewed appeal, stating they would investigate requests for optical prescriptions similar to Andrew's, as well as documents from the Passport Office and National Insurance. They also planned to circulate Andrew's DNA, fingerprints, and dental and health records. The tone of the police statement suggested a belief that Andrew may still be alive. In 2018, further developments occurred. The family experienced a significant development when they received a lead from an individual who claimed to have been conversing online with someone named Andy Rue. This person indicated that Andy had been soliciting financial assistance due to his partner leaving him. The tipster offered to send money, but Andy reportedly stated that he did not possess a bank account, having left home at the age of 14. This information piqued the family's interest, as they had affectionately referred to Andrew as Rue during his childhood. The informant asserted that Andrew was residing in Lincoln. However, the family has yet to obtain any additional details. Andrew's family continues to issue appeals for information, firmly believing that he is still alive and holding on to the hope that he may one day return home, using the key he took with him when he left. In 2020, Andrew will turn 27. If you are Andrew or possess any information regarding him, or if you require assistance related to a missing person, whether it be yourself or someone you know, please do not hesitate to call 116-0 at any time within the UK. Help is always available. Angela Hammond, on April 4, 1991, around 9 p.m., dropped off her fiancé, Rob Schaefer, at his mother's residence. The couple had enjoyed an evening together at a barbecue, but Rob needed to babysit his younger brother until their mother returned from work. They planned to reunite later. At that time, Angela was 4 months pregnant, and both she and Rob were looking forward to their marriage. The families of both the Schaefer and Hammond households were eagerly anticipating the wedding and the arrival of their new grandchild, as life for the couple was filled with promise. Angela appeared well as she departed, and Rob waved goodbye from the doorstep, assuring her that he would await her call later. In the meantime, Angela spent time with her best friend, Kayla. At approximately 11:00 p.m., the two friends parted ways for the night. True to her word, Angela called her fiancé from a payphone located at the corner of 2010 South 2 ND Street, adjacent to the parking lot of the food barn. In contemporary times, a lone woman using a payphone in an empty parking lot at such a late hour would be considered unusual. However, the dynamics were different in the small rural town of Clinton, Missouri. The tight-knit community primarily consisted of farmers, factory workers, and small business owners, allowing Angela to feel secure in an environment where violent crime was virtually non-existent. While conversing with Rob, Angela mentioned that a peculiar truck had been repeatedly circling the square. It appeared to be a Ford F-150 from the late 1960s or early 1970s. Being a native of Clinton, Angela was well acquainted with most vehicles that typically cruise the area, yet this particular one was unfamiliar to her. Nevertheless, she dismissed her concerns and continued her discussion with Rob. As fatigue set in, Angela informed Rob that she would head home rather than wait for him to pick her up. Moments later, the driver of the circling truck exited his vehicle to use the payphone next to Angela. She described the man to Rob as a disheveled older white man with a white beard and mustache. Angela felt a sense of relief when he finished his call and returned to his truck, but her unease grew when he did not immediately drive away. The man returned unexpectedly, and the next sound that reached Rob's ears was Angela's frantic scream. In a state of urgency, Rob dropped the phone and rushed to his car, driving at high speed for 7 blocks to the parking lot. As he neared the location, he spotted an old Ford pickup passing him on the road, with Angela's terrified cries emanating from within. Without hesitation, Rob shifted his car into reverse and spun around to pursue them, but the maneuver damaged his car's transmission. Approximately 2 miles into the chase, his vehicle failed, leaving him powerless as he watched his fiancée vanish down the dark stretch of Royal Lane. Rob then returned to the police station to report the incident. Initially, he became the primary suspect. However, after a week-long investigation, he was exonerated. This delay proved to be a significant setback, as checks were conducted on all trucks matching the description he provided, yet yielded no results. One notable characteristic of the truck was an image on the rear window depicting a fish leaping from the water. Rob also provided the police sketch artist with details regarding the driver of the truck. This is where discrepancies arose compared to Angela's description over the phone. He did not observe a white man with a white beard and mustache. This inconsistency may have led some to question Rob's credibility, but investigators were convinced of his innocence. It is plausible that the beard Angela described was a disguise that fell off during the struggle to force her into the truck. An extensive search and investigation were conducted by both law enforcement and the community, but no leads were found. Initially, Angela's abduction was connected to 2 other similar disappearances. In January and February of 1991, incidents occurred within an 18-mile radius involving Trudy Darby and Cheryl and Kenny. Trudy was later discovered to have been murdered, while Cheryl's case remains unresolved. The perpetrator, 15-year-old Jesse Rush, along with his half-brother Marvin Chaney, was responsible for Trudy's abduction and murder. In correspondence, Jesse hinted at having committed similar acts against other women, although these claims were never substantiated. Angela's case was also featured on the television program Unsolved Mysteries, which included a reenactment of her disappearance, yet it yielded no new leads. Angela's mother, Marcia, appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to raise awareness about her missing daughter, but again, no new information emerged. Nearly 3 decades later, Angela's fate remains a complete enigma, as no trace of her has ever been discovered. The last person to see her alive was Rob, and while it seems unlikely, there remains a possibility that she is still alive and may have given birth to the child she was expecting. Marab not only lost his future wife but also his anticipated child. As with every case we discuss, if anyone has information regarding Angela Hammond's disappearance, please reach out to the Clinton Police Department at 600-885-2679. The mystery surrounding Keith Reinhardt does not begin with him but rather with Tom Young. Tom operated a bookstore on Main Street in Silver Plume, Colorado, situated in the Rocky Mountains. On September 7, 1987, Tom closed his shop and vanished along with his dog, Gus. He had previously informed acquaintances that he was embarking on a vacation to Europe. It was 3 weeks before anyone reported him missing. A few months after Tom's disappearance, 49-year-old Keith Reinhardt, a sports writer for the Chicago Daily Herald, became increasingly dissatisfied and restless with his life. He decided to take a 90-day leave of absence and relocated to Silver Plume, leaving his wife Carolyn in Chicago. Keith's longtime friend, Ted Parker, already resided there, and Keith envied his simple, rustic lifestyle. He planned to open an antique shop, write a book, and seek personal fulfillment. Coincidentally, Ted Parker owned the storefront that had previously been leased to Tom Young and offered it to Keith. Keith arrived in Silver Plume in June 1988 and established his antique shop. However, he soon discovered that the market for antiques in the quiet, somewhat dilapidated area of the Rockies was minimal, and the monotony of running the shop weighed heavily on him. Since moving to Silver Plume, Keith became fixated on the mysterious disappearance of the former shopkeeper and began conversing with members of the small community who had known Tom. He decided to base the novel he intended to write on Tom's disappearance, creating a character named Guy Gypsum, a composite of himself and Tom. Then, on July 31, 1988, just a month after Keith's arrival in Silver Plume, 2 hunters discovered the remains of Tom Gus in the nearby mountains. Both had died from gunshot wounds to the head, and a revolver was found near the remains. Investigations later revealed that Tom had purchased the firearm 4 days prior to his last sighting in Silver Plume. The case was deemed open and shut, and it was ruled as a homicide. The ruling of suicide has been met with skepticism by some, including Keith. On August 7, 1 week after Tom's remains were discovered, Heath informed friends of his intention to take a short hike up Mount Pendleton. He was last seen dressed in casual attire and sneakers. Concern arose when Keith did not return by the scheduled time of 10:00 p.m. This prompted one of the largest search operations in Colorado's history. The search was ultimately suspended on August 14 following a plane crash that resulted in 1 fatality and 1 injury, despite the effort logging over 10,000 man-hours without uncovering any evidence. More than 3 decades later, Keith's son, Kai Reinhard, continues to seek the truth regarding his father's fate. He is convinced that the disappearance of his father and the death of Tom are interconnected and suspects foul play, suggesting that his father may have uncovered information related to Tom's demise during his investigations. Kai is adamant that his father would not have left without leaving any notes or informing anyone. Conversely, his close friend Ted Parker has maintained, both then and now, that Keith likely fell and that his remains remain undiscovered in the mountains. The theories surrounding Keith's disappearance range from a deliberate vanishing or suicide to more nefarious possibilities, and the case remains open. A plaque has been erected on the mountain where Keith vanished, inscribed with his father's words by his son Kai. Composed during his childhood, the text expresses a yearning, "Oh God, I wish to roam until my last breath, with the mountains as my living space and the sky as my sole shelter." These words carry a sense of foreboding, as they appear to have tragically manifested. Individuals possessing any information related to this case are urged to reach out to the Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office. Thus, the facts are presented: 3 individuals have disappeared under enigmatic circumstances.